Hello nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Weekend Nerdom Video Games Edition for the week of January 29th, 2018. This week on video games, we're talking about some crazy patents Sony has filed in the last little while. Hyrule Warriors, it's coming to the Switch. Shadow of the Colossus, for all you retro gamers out there, is back in the news, and I'll tell you why. And a really awesome one, if you are a streamer, Facebook might make you some money. All that plus some more right after this.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Okay, video game news this week is a little interesting. I would say we're kind of balanced on things that are actual video games and some that are like potential video game influencers. So the first bit is Sony. Now, Sony, as far as consoles are concerned, is pretty much leading the market for home consoles. The PlayStation VR is the only home console that does virtual reality, so they've got that. I mean, there's also the Vive, and there's also the Oculus Rift, and there's other things that have VR capabilities that aren't home consoles technically, because you need a very powerful computer to run them. So Sony kind of has the market cornered at the moment for home consoles with VR. That being said, they've been a little shaky with their immersiveness in the VR game. They just filed one, and then the other patent that we're going to talk about is from a couple months back, but it's still relevant. So they just filed two patents for their PlayStation VR, both of which have to do with the Move controller, which is what they call their VR controllers. That's not the headset. So the new controller is going to have a couple of really interesting features. First, it's going to have joysticks. Finally. I don't understand how that got missed. I don't understand, like, I've played a Vive. I don't understand how the Vive doesn't have joysticks. But anyway, there's going to be more face buttons right there at your thumb tips, I guess. So joystick in the center, and then a series of buttons surrounding the joystick, which might be a little bit too much, but we'll see if it happens. This is just a patent. This is just an idea that they want to secure so that nobody can steal it from them. It might not ever happen. Patents get filed every day that don't actually come to fruition. But with the growth of Sony and the growth of VR, it might actually happen. It very possibly will happen. So that's very interesting. And also the thing that this first patent that we're talking about does is it moves the tether, the thing that you wrap around your wrist, moves it from the bottom of the controller to the side of the controller, which is very much like the Knuckles controller that Valve announced, which is kind of brings us to our other patent that they filed. This one was a couple months back. This one is talking about what is it? Finger tracking. So it's like kind of like a mouse trackpad on your laptop, only for each individual finger. Knuckles, the Knuckle controller that Valve does has this on it, and I believe that one still hasn't been released yet either. But Sony's looking to do something similar with their VR, so that's super interesting. How is that going to affect your VR experience? Just the amount of possibilities that are associated with that are pretty awesome. So definitely going to keep our ears open for the new Sony controllers for VR, should they ever happen. Next, we're moving over to the Switch. No patents or nothing. This is actually not a super big update, because we kind of already knew this one was happening. So where is it? Where did it go? Hyrule Warriors is the name of the game. So it's Link, it's Zelda, troll things. Anyway, it's Link in Hyrule Warriors. This is a quasi port from the Wii U, and also from the 3DS, because the game exists on both platforms but in different forms. So this is kind of the amalgamation of those two games into one, and they're releasing it on the Switch. But right now, they've only announced a release date for Japan. Jerks. That release date is March 22nd. I would imagine that the US release date is not far behind. There's speculation that it might be in May, which puts it 2 months past. I don't think they're going to do that. I would imagine, since it's the end of March, we'll get it somewhere around the middle to the end of April, which gives us a month. But again, nothing's concrete for the US, so we can't really go further with this. So we're going to kick on down the road back over to Sony land. But this time we are actually talking about a game. And that game is Shadow of the Colossus. So we're not talking about PlayStation 2, which is what Shadow of the Colossus came out for, around about 2008, I believe. We're getting a revamped version of Shadow of the Colossus for the PS4. My hope, aside from just the retelling of the same story, because it was great, there's nothing about Shadow of the Colossus that was bad. Except it got a little monotonous and tedious between the Colossi. My hope is that instead of it just being 10 instead of just being 10 levels, that we get some additional content. So maybe kick it up to 12, and also kind of a ramp up in the difficulty level would be fantastic. But just the fact that they're remaking it for PS4 with the updated graphics is kind of cool in and of itself, and probably worth buying anyway. So definitely go play. If you haven't played it, you can play Shadow of the Colossus from PS2. You can play that on your PS4, so do that before this new game comes out, so you can fully appreciate the differences. And also we got a new trailer, a new kind of behind the scenes little snippet and trailer of the new stuff, which I will link to down in the description. Next is very, very interesting. We're talking Facebook gaming. It's Facebook for Creators, I think, is the new project that Facebook is coming out with, and its existence is for the purpose of being able to monetize your game streams. It's still super duper beta right now. They're working out a whole bunch of kinks, but it looks like they're going to roll it out for everyone in the very near future. No date was announced, but it's going to happen soon. Initially, it's going to start out pretty much like Twitch, in that your fans, the people watching your streams, can tip you. They can support you through just a one-time, here's $3, here's $2, whatever. They can do that, and then eventually they're going to evolve that monetization beyond the tip model, and you're going to be able to monetize a la YouTube, it sounds like, through your ads and things of that nature. So very interesting, very, very interesting. It looks like they're trying to cut in on YouTube's game, because YouTube just kind of scaled back who can monetize on their platform. So now Facebook is seeing an open market and taking it. Very, very interesting. Let's keep our eyes open to this. Maybe eventually they'll expand it so we can get news shows monetized through the Facebooks. Or just random entertainment shows where we do cosplay and interview celebrities and quasi-celebrities and things of that nature. Yeah, let's do that, Facebook. Come on. But our last bit of news is probably the one that I'm arguably, I'm legit excited for Shadow of the Colossus, but this has larger implementations. But I'll let you know what I'm talking about. Madden NFL 2018. I am not a sports guy. I am not a video game sports guy. I am a little bit in real life. I did play sports in high school, and I play them. I just don't care to watch them, I guess, is probably the defining line I want to draw. But the EA Sports just signed a deal with ESPN and Disney XD. Very interesting combination of channels. They're going to have Madden 2018 live coverage for which league was it? Actually, it's two leagues: the Club League and the Ultimate League. Club League and Ultimate League are going to... So Club League is as actually what they're showing right now. It started on the 27th, so just a couple days ago. They're doing the semifinals for that, and then Ultimate League kicks off February 2nd. That's when they're going to do regular season Ultimate League games, and that will culminate on April 28th with the NFL Draft. So the finals for the Ultimate League will be the 28th, and the draft will they'll televise that from the same Superdome or wherever the hell they do the draft. It's going to be the same building. They're going to, so that just kind of, the reason this has bigger implications, and the reason we're talking about it, even though I'm not much of a sports guy, is because that shows how ingrained nerd culture is into the mass culture, into our society at large. I really feel like we've got, this is not, and let me be clear, this is definitely not the first time ESPN has aired electronic sports. That's how it goes. It's not the first time ESPN has aired electronic sports. It's not the first time they've done professional gaming. This is, though, the first time that they are going to do an actual series for said electronic gaming. And also, they're doing a second series for it where they highlight different players. It'll only run for about 2 months, the second series will, but they're going to highlight the players from the Ultimate League. So just super interesting. If this does well, I would imagine next it's going to go into, they'll do a series for war sims, for Call of Duty, for Halo, that kind of stuff. And then as that gets better, then we're going to see more diverse video games getting mass release on these channels, like legit, and not just tournaments, like actual seasons, like regular sports. I just think that the implication there is incredible. And that is where I'm going to leave this episode. This has been your Weekend Nerddom Video Games edition. And you guys got to tell me, what did I miss? What should we talk about next week? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to go deeper into this conversation, then definitely jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net. You can find all the social media links, you can get other freebies on the website, or if you want to contribute, if you want to help this channel grow and become prosperous, and I can do all the things, then cover them and report them back to you, and we can talk about what's going on, then jump over to patreon.com/generallynerdy, and you can contribute $1 a month. Just $1 a month goes an incredible long way, and you guys just cannot understand how grateful I am for those dollars. But if you are new to the channel, definitely click the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. There's also a subscribe button above my head any moment now. If you are falling behind on your nerd news and you want to catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. But before you do, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.